Today on CJ Off-Road, we're going to be talking about the brand new EcoDiesel in the Jeep Wrangler JL. Stay tuned. We've been waiting for a diesel to be released in the Jeep Wrangler for a very long time. The Jeep's been doing this and exporting them overseas almost since the YJ, so there's been a ton of diesels over in other countries, but we've never actually had our hands on one here. Now, I'm excited to say that in 2020, the Jeep Wrangler EcoDiesel will be available on dealership lots. It's been available for pre-order and it's been released. However, we've been waiting for them to arrive on the lot so we can really get our hands on them and try them out. Now, we are going to do a full in-depth review of the EcoDiesel, talk about some pros and cons in this video, and compare it to the current models that are available. Now, if you guys aren't already, be sure to like and subscribe our channel and hit that little bell to make sure your notifications come on when we drop these videos, as well as many great installation videos. Also, stay tuned until the end of the video because I'm going to give you my personal opinion on what I would pick and also some of our plans here at CJ Off-Road for the diesel, so you're going to want to stay tuned and not miss this. So the first thing that I want to do is talk about some of the specifications that the brand new V6 EcoDiesel offers in the Jeep Wrangler JL. Now, the biggest and most notorious thing that diesels have for them is that their ability to create torque is unmatched by any gasoline-powered engine. Now, with the EcoDiesel and the Wrangler, there is no comparison with creating a whopping 442 foot-pounds of torque. The horsepower is, however, a little bit lower at 260 horsepower, but that's pretty much in line with the V6 and the 2-liter turbo that are already offered in the Jeep Wrangler JL. Now, this diesel is a V6 turbo diesel. It's a 24-valve, and it has been completely built to be fitted into the Jeep Wrangler. There are a lot of people that are saying it's the exact same as the EcoDiesel Ram or the EcoDiesel in the Grand Cherokee. However, after watching a bunch of videos and doing some more research, it has been modified to fit the chassis of the Jeep Wrangler and really work better with the Wrangler's characteristics, as well as to be able to offer it more off-road power and more off-road capability. The towing capacity on the EcoDiesel, being that it is only offered in a 4-door and an automatic, is going to be 3,500 pounds. I think that has to do with the chassis of the Jeep Wrangler because all the 4-doors are rated to the same weight. And with the EcoDiesel, you're not going to gain any real structural reinforcements besides a few up front and a couple in the back that would increase the towing capacity. The only thing I will mention about the EcoDiesel that kind of stinks a little bit, but we were all expecting it, is that there is obviously a price increase. Now, if you go from a standard V6 automatic, you're only going to be raising your price by $4,000. However, if you have a V6 mated with a manual transmission, it is going to be $4,000 for the diesel engine and $2,000 for the 8-speed automatic transmission. So with the EcoDiesel only available in the 4-door, there are some specific ratings that are going to be only for the EcoDiesel. With the EcoDiesel, you're going to get an 18.3 gallon fuel tank. That's going to give you about 30 miles per gallon on the highway. Once again, the EPA hasn't submitted their final reportings on this, so that is all speculation, but from a few journalists that have tested these in the wild, they're getting around 30 miles per gallon on the highway, and I'd imagine depending on where you live and the driving type that you do, you might get higher and or lower depending on what you have. Now, me personally, I'm an avid off-roader and I absolutely love diesel engines. The amount of torque that you can gain out of a diesel, as well as the reliability and simplicity of the engine, outranks pretty much any gasoline engine you can swap into vehicles. Hence why you see a lot of diesels at Moab, Utah, and a lot of other places. You can see them out rolling around with the standard Cummins 4BT or many other different diesel engines. Now, the reason the US has been so far behind in diesel is because we are not as accustomed as other countries are to having diesel in our vehicles. There are very few diesel vehicles on the road here in the US and a limited amount of manufacturers that will even produce them for the US market. And that's due to the change of cost of diesel and also just the standard kind of concern that people have that they're dirty, they smell, they're used to tractor trailers that are all over the road and really stinking, and that's just something that this diesel, I think, is really going to prove them wrong. It has a DEF tank in there, it's very quiet, and there's going to be increased sound deadening in the cabin as well as underneath the hood. And from what I've seen on videos, you can barely hear the thing when you're inside, besides when you get on it because you want to hear that diesel and the blow-off sound when that turbo really spools up. But overall, the diesel is a great option for the off-roader. I would rank it up at the #1 option if you're looking to strictly off-road a vehicle or you do more time off the pavement than you do on the pavement. Besides that, you'll get some decent fuel economy, but depending on what state you live in, the diesel price will be higher. So when we did the math a little bit, we compared it with some of the V6 and the inline 4, you'd, I think, almost have to drive over 200,000 miles to recuperate the cost of the $4,000 engine compared to just getting a gasoline engine and that minute price difference for mile per gallon. I mean, you consider the inline 4 is making almost 25 miles per gallon on the highway, only 5 more miles per gallon for an extra almost $1 in some states a gallon does really counteract that, and you can really notice some changes when you go to pricing. And I'll be honest with you guys, if you're looking at getting the diesel to save money, I probably wouldn't recommend it. And depending on what state you live in, unless the diesel price is super cheap, you plan on this thing being on the highway and just only getting highway miles, you're not going to buy this diesel to save you money on gas or diesel fuel in that case, but you are going to get an increased off-road experience. So the biggest question in everyone's mind is, how well does the diesel stack up to the current engine offerings that Jeep gives you in the Wrangler? Now, the two engines that are currently in the Jeep are the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 and the inline 4-cylinder 2.0 liter engine. Now, these are both great engines, and we have a good video series up that really goes into detail about both of these and talks about everything in crazy detail. But for right now, I'm just going to touch on some of these topics. If you go to our page, subscribe, you can click in through there, watch the whole series. That is really informative if you're trying to debate between the two gasoline engines. In the future, we're going to do all 3 engines plus my Hemi, so we'll have 4 engines to compare here. But first and foremost, we do have the tried and true 3.6 liter V6. That's been available in the Wrangler since 2012, and I've personally owned a 2012, and I absolutely love the 3.6. Made plenty of power and torque, and added on that I had a supercharger on there, it was an absolute perfect combination for me. Now, the new V6 is rated to 260 foot-pounds of torque and 285 horsepower. Now, this is combined with 3,500 pound towing capacity and an average of 23 miles per gallon on the highway. So not too shabby there. However, you can see the torque rating is a lot lower than the diesel. It's almost 200 foot-pounds less than the EcoDiesel, being that the EcoDiesel is at 442. When you move on to the inline 4-cylinder, you do have a lot more torque at 295 foot-pounds. However, the horsepower is lower at only 260. Now, the one thing I will mention when you're talking about both of these is that they're available in the 2-door and 4-door. And what I'm doing today is doing all 4-door comparisons because the EcoDiesel is only offered in that. But I will say that the inline 4-cylinder is almost going to get 25 miles per gallon when you're running premium gas. So for 5 miles per gallon less, and at this moment when this video is released, Jeep is offering a $1,000 discount for the inline 4-cylinder, you're going to save almost $5,000 for only a cost savings of 5 miles per gallon. Now, you're not going to have the crazy torque, but you're up there a little bit higher at 295, so you are closer to the EcoDiesel for a lot less money. If that's what you're trying to do, you can dump that $5 grand here at CJ's for some crazy mods for the inline 4 instead of spending it on the diesel. The last thing I want to do is talk about my opinion on the diesel and what it would be best suited for. So my overall opinion on the diesel as an avid off-road enthusiast and a member of the off-road community is that the thing is absolutely awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on one of these and test drive it and see exactly how it performs out in the wild and for daily driving. I'm really excited for what this is going to do, including the Gladiator when they drop an EcoDiesel in there, to really give us a unique experience for off-roading. I think this is going to be perfect for the overlanding community that is looking for the extended range and the better fuel economy while off-roading. That's one of the main benefits of a diesel, is that when you're out on the trail wheeling, it makes so much torque and you're going to be running at so little RPM, they're going to get better fuel economy when you're going slow. Now, will I personally buy an EcoDiesel? I don't know. I'll have to get behind one and really spec one out to what I'm thinking. But right now I do have a Hemi and I'm super happy with that thing. However, I think the diesel would be great for me commuting back and forth to work until I make it really stupid and throw some 37s and beadlocks on it like I normally do, and then it'll turn into a non-economy friendly vehicle. But that's neither here nor there. I really can't wait to get our hands on that. And once we have one local to us, probably at Susquehanna Chrysler, we're gonna be driving down there, giving you a full review and test driving it. You're also going to want to stay tuned because the same way we did our engine comparison before, we're going to be doing that with the EcoDiesel, with the V6 and the 4-cylinder. We'll probably throw the Hemi in there for fun. We've got all these engines here on hand, so you can really try them out and see what's best for you. Now, I've done a lot of talking today about the specifications of the diesel and my personal opinions on it. But what I really want to hear from is you guys. I know a lot of people watch these videos and we do get a decent amount of comments, but I really love to hear your feedback and what you personally think about the EcoDiesel. Will you be buying one? Is the cost too high? Do you think it's worth it? Give me your opinion. I really love to read it, and I'll like and comment back to you guys, and we can get a good conversation going. But before you do that, make sure you like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of our great CJ Off-Road content. Until next time, guys, we're going to find an EcoDiesel, get out and drive it, but I'll see you guys out on the trail.